What's the over? Like, how many games do you think they'll win? 10? Terms they do when they approve your loan. What is it? Whatever that term is, I need that to be my pronoun.
My girl can go out to one ladies' night. That's it. You can go back with a rule book and everything. And then what's coming to me? And then.
All right. Are y'all gonna kill me if I say, do we throw Michael when he got the skin color change?
Nope, I demand it. Nope, I'm walking off. Stroke. I'm walking off the stroke.
He has a
No,
disease.
it's got to be a stroke. No.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I was just asking a question. First of all,
$1 for a stadium to be built outside of Buffalo.
We have to talk not about just individual behaviors, but about the system, right?
Realize that these credit bureaus, there's nothing federal about it.
So for the believers, it's just like, I have to believe, the God in her, just like she has to believe it in me.
Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Let's Chop It Up. Please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Like, subscribe, and tell a friend about four brothers down here on this YouTube channel. My brothers from another mother, 7 days don't pass. I'm catching up with you, brothers. I want to say one thing to my man, Jamie. I like the way you changed the beginning of the intro. That was dope. That's my first time seeing it myself.
Yeah, me too.
So shout out to Jamie. But Derek, man, talk to me, man. How you doing, bro?
Hey, man. Everything's all right, man. We're hanging in there, I'm kind of uptight because I missed the New Edition concert. My wife went. She took my middle son actually, who went in my place. So they had a really good time. I was really impressed that my middle son knew a lot of the words. All right, so I was like, oh, okay, there's hope for the boy yet. You know what I mean? So, and they had a good show, man. From what I understand, it was a good show. And it was good to see Bobby walk around and do like 2 songs and leave. You know what I'm saying? Because he just does he just breathes on stage and maybe does a little thing and then his little 2-step and he leaves. Hey Denise, how you doing? And thanks for your EOTs. Thanks a lot. The intros fly.
EOT.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. They had a lot of fun. Then I got to the weekend. Hey Sean, what's happening? Hey Shauna, what's going on? Yeah, Marsha, check it in. Hey, thank you for the intro. Yeah, that was an amazing intro, Jamie. Do your thing, man. Do your thing. Hey, baby girl. That's my beautiful wife right there. But no, we had a great weekend as well. A great weekend of sports. Boxing is my favorite sport. Big weekend. My man Gervonta Davis and King Ryan Garcia came in and put up Floyd Mayweather numbers for the pay-per-view. Did their thing, brought it back, put boxing back on the map for the week. I mean, for the year. Well, yeah.
Well, 1 week. That's what you get.
May I speak to that, Derek? Brother Derek.
Yeah, what's going on?
Can I speak to that? Can I just say that I want to shout out Garcia for taking a knee like Kaepernick, supporting the Black community, fights against police brutality. I thought that was amazing. I feel like he understood the struggle and he brought that whole conversation back in a moment where we needed it, right?
We needed it.
Like taking a knee at the right time. That's how you make a statement.
There you go. He made
That's how you show your support.
Look at
he's invited to all of that. He's invited to all that.
Absolutely, man. Yo, listen, man. Listen, he got to check. The boy never has to fight again in life, and he don't want to. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see what kind of gumption and what kind of what kind of backbone he has. And if he has any hunger. But as Evander Holyfield was saying, it's hard to get up and train when you're sleeping on silk sheets. The boy can afford silk sheets now. And shout out to Gervonta Davis doing his thing, always coming through, did his thing. And we had a good time. I had a hard time getting the fight though, but they still put up over 1.2 or 1.5, depending on your ass, man, million. So that's a lot of bread. But yeah, that was it, man. That's pretty much my weekend. I'm happy to be back here with y'all. What's going on? Dope Conversations Podcast. What up, people? Damon sent me here. All right, that's
That's a dope podcast. Check it out. Check it
Yeah.
out. Just saying. Yeah,
shows
man.
us Tank look like that drunk uncle with hands on his nephew talking crazy at the cookout. Absolutely. Yeah, so that was pretty much it, man. Damien, man,
what
what's
up,
going
baby?
on with you, man? What's happening, man? Talk to me. What
Yo,
you been
the
up
week
to?
is good. I was talking behind the scenes, but I gotta say, we don't talk
That's
about
good.
enough sports. There's so many things happening in sports right now,
Right.
and we could chat
Right.
about it a little bit right now. Everybody got a story. All four of us got something. Yo,
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler went crazy this week.
Big
LeBron
time.
went crazy this week.
Indeed.
Jokic, like all these players going. Trey Young just hurt a lot of Boston fans' feelings. You know what I'm saying? Last night. And I don't know what's going on tonight, but I'm sure somebody else is getting their feeling hurt. Dylan Brooks tried to talk trash to LeBron, and then the next day he
man.
hiding from the reporters.
Punk it out, man, for real.
He had the chance to step up and stop LeBron, and guess what? He gave him an and one. Thank you for that win, sir, Mr. I poke Bears. Like, you sure? Because seems like the Bears keep winning.
Yeah, man, don't
So,
poke the bear.
You might
That's
want to
right,
change the
man.
tactic. My week wasn't bad. I'm in the process of actually getting my LLCs formed and starting business
Oh, that's what's up.
endeavors. So I'm really moving forward with a very strong plan, which I think is great. Doing a little bit better in terms of just getting myself back acclimated to things. I really like that I can now say that I'm no longer Rodney on the show because there's an intro with my name on it, my voice and stuff. That's fire. But is that also, because I also got to ask the question, is that like in the movies where they show the backstory before the person gets killed? Does that mean like this might be my last show and they're going to fire me right after they like highlighted me in the intro? It's like, but we're going to scroll you for life, brother. Get out of here. No, I'm good. Yeah, there's a lot of great things going on right now. So I'm just trying to keep up good spirits, good energy, personal things. Always there's a struggle when things like that are going on. But I'm trying to be positive and I'm happy to be here with everybody, and the energy is good right now. So I want to ride that wave. Pause.
Mhm.
Kelvin, how was your week?
I'm good, fellas. Everything is good. First of all, I did see the fight. I loved it. I thought it was nice. It's amazing. That kidney shot is unforgiving. You can get hit and your nervous system don't know what to do.
The
Like,
liver.
it's just
That's a liver shot.
Oh, it's a liver shot?
Liver shot. Yeah.
See, I feel like I got hit. But I'm saying,
I called around too. I did. I called around. I should put money
he
on
said
it.
it. He predicted it too. See, but
Yeah.
all that press conference thugging usually ends like this. You know what I mean? And I knew they was trying to sell the fight, but he reminded me so much. Right? I mean, Derek, you know this. He reminds me of Mayweather so much. Start slow, figure out what the opponent's trying to do, and then take them right apart. And that's what he did. So I thought it was great. Also, we got some other big news, as Damien alluded to. Today, Aaron Rodgers had his press conference with the Jets. So I just want to say we're no longer the laughing stock of the world. Okay, we have not been in the playoffs since I was little. Okay, so now it's time that Aaron Rodgers is gonna come here. So I want to tell everybody right now, get ready for the AFC Championship game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets in MetLife Stadium. So I'm calling it right now. So I'm gonna let you know that right now. Go ahead, Damien.
Is that on Madden 2010? Is that on Tecmo Bowl from the 90s? Which
Scroll.
game is that
Scroll.
going to be
I want to scroll.
happening on? I just want to know. I want to get the game. I want to play it.
Jamie, you're a Jets fan. That should be a scroll behind that. That's foul. That's foul. The other big news that a lot of people have not been talking about much lately, I've decided to come back to handball full time. So the champ is back, and also air hockey. You don't want it with me in air hockey. I've already gone into
air hockey. I'll play you in air
Don't do
hockey.
it. Come on, don't let the enemy use you, D.
Bro,
Don't do it.
bro.
Don't do it. You my brother. You my brother.
Every
With
Friday we
Nino
have
and
air
G
hockey
Money.
tournament.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. We all we got. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it.
The fat man hands are fast. I'm no joke
Now,
in air hockey.
I gotta say this last thing, and I want to say this to my community, to my people. I know we've been through a lot. I know we've been through the struggle. Okay, but I'm gonna be honest with you. We've got to come up with some better ingenuity when it comes to panhandling. All right, the opening the door for somebody grown is getting old. I'm gonna just tell you today, I paid 25 cents to have somebody open the door for me. It's too much. All right, we've got to come up with something, learn magic trick or something. We got to do something. But the panhandling thing has to be more than offering to bag groceries when you grown and they don't even have you at the supermarket when you work there. All right, don't just create jobs like that. We got to do something better. All right, so enough of that. I can pump my own gas and I can open the door for myself. Okay. To stop letting all the other communities beat you to them bottles out on the street. They separate them for you now. All right. I'm not trying to get fly, but I'm saying I know the problem is everybody gotta get up there early. Don't nobody want to do that. You see what I'm saying? By the time you get up there, they done had a lady come by and had 400 bags on one cart. We have to do better as a people. And we can't lose in that too. You know what I'm saying? The recycling game is open for everybody. All right. I know it sounds foul. I'm not trying to get fly. I'm just being honest with you. But anyway, the other big news I'll leave to the point guard extraordinaire is his New York Knicks are up 3-1, and it looked like they're about to close out tonight. So I got to hand it off to the point guard, the devastator, the orchestrator, the great D. Talk to me, man. What's the
That's
deal?
right. The Knicks right now up by 10 with a minute 37. Feeling good, confidence. Hope they can hold that on to that. We've seen stranger things with Reggie, what's his name? What's his name?
Miller.
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller kill us with
And T-Mac.
Oh my God. So I'm hopefully the Knicks can hold on. We get to the second round, but I don't think Julius Randle's out. What else? I still got construction in my house. I got first world problems. I don't have one. I'm missing one kitchen. That's first world problems. How many people got two kitchens? You know what I'm saying? So I got some first world problems right now going on over here, but it's all right. It's gonna look fly. And then hopefully when everything is the dust is settled, I have everybody over my house. Cause I miss throwing those big parties I used to have in my yard. I got a nice sized yard. I can't wait to do that.
Nice.
But yeah, without further ado, let's get the show because we started late because we did have some technical issues with one of our. We apologize with one of our guests, so now we straightened me a little behind. So I'm going to get to Harry Belafonte. Okay. Belafonte passed away.
I'm sorry.
We that pressed for time?
I know. I didn't get it out. I was like, Harry Belafonte. Well, anyway, Harry Belafonte, Jamie, like Jamie just showed you, passed away at the age of 96 yesterday. My frat brother, he's in Omega chapter now. One of the greatest things. One thing Harry Belafonte did was the first black person to sell over 1 million records, and it was a Calypso album. He's a political activist. He helped fund some of the things with Martin Luther King, some of the marches, some of the events. Advocate right now for jail reform and stuff like that. Jail. So anybody else want to chop in? And Jamie, Jamie, do you want to play a video for Harry Belafonte?
No.
All right. Well,
no, he said no. It's fine.
I'll jump in. I was fortunate to meet Harry Belafonte many years ago when I was in college working in the limousine business, and he was my client. So I spent a couple of hours with Harry Belafonte. He was trying to get out on an American flight, and because of inclement weather, he couldn't get out. So he and I just figured out we was gonna go. I just said to myself, I'm gonna get Mr. Belafonte on a flight somewhere. So we wound up going to Delta, going to the first class lounge, getting the flight right there. And in the limousine business, everybody knows about the limousine business. You can't ask for autographs. You can't be a fan. And so I was like, this is history right here. So I was like, Mr. Belafonte, we're not allowed to ask for autographs and things like that. But hypothetically, if we were, would that be a problem for you? He was like, well, hypothetically, if the person's name is Kelvin, it wouldn't be a problem for me. And he signed the autograph for me. So I really appreciate it. Just having a moment to be in the presence of greatness. I think it's amazing to what a person stands for. That's what we always remember. And I mean, he truly, truly loved his people, loved his community from Harlem. Lived in Harlem all those years, and certainly just an amazing entertainer, performer, and activist. So it was just, I sometimes look back and think that it was just Harry Belafonte and I having a conversation with all of the places he's traveled, all the people he's met. And for one moment in time, I had a chance to be in his presence. So rest in peace to the great Harry Belafonte. And certainly he will be missed, but his impact will be felt for generations and generations to come.
Yeah, thanks, Kelvin, man. I'm a lot like you. I also had an opportunity to meet him once, and this was, I don't know what I would have done though if I actually had the opportunity to drive him around like you did and have a real conversation with him, because I was standing like a punk, bro. Like I've never in my life. I met a lot of famous people. I got a chance. First of all, I got a chance. It was for a television, TV interview, and I had a chance to mic him up and give my IFB and everything, and do him up a little bit. And let me tell you, I met a lot of famous people, but this was like meeting MLK, man. And I've never been starstruck in my life except that one time, man, when I met Harry Belafonte, And I mean, I felt like a real, like almost a little schoolgirl, man. I was a punk, dog. I was a complete chump. And you know how it's bad? It's bad when you can still remember it. And you ever did something where something happened to you and you were like, man, I should have said this. I should have said that. You know what I mean? It was like that. I
Right.
still have that moment, like from years from now, man. Like, damn, I wish I would have been cooler. Or I wish I would have said I had so much that I wanted to say. So much but in that moment, all I thought was, just sitting there looking at him, dog. I'm serious.
Yeah, you
But,
gotta
he
get
was-
caught. You get frozen a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, man. It's like I had so much in my mind, and so much I wanted to say, just would not come out my mouth. My mouth just would not operate. But you know, again, he was amazing, gracious individual, man, just a gracious man, and he's seriously gonna be missed. Again, activist, first, I guess you wouldn't say, or one of the first platinum selling artists. I guess that will be the equivalent of platinum. You know what I mean? So yeah, and you know, he was. I think he might have even been the prototype for like he kind of maybe took over Paul Robeson in that regard, which became, you know, kind of the political entertainer, you know, personality. You know what I mean? The entertainer that everyone asks the political questions of and looks to for leadership. You know. So he and a bunch of other individuals, and he definitely was from that, you know, from that school, or, you know, definitely from that vein. So he's going to be missed. Amazing individual. Glad I got a chance to meet him. Just, you know, for the little time that I had, and I hope, and I don't know if there'll ever be another, man. I think we kind of broke the mold on this one, you know. So
Yeah, I just quickly rest in peace. You know, his reputation speaks for itself. Like, universally loved by everyone. That's a rare thing that you can say about people in the world, and especially about somebody who is from our community and identifies and speaks for us. They usually get vilified. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just a fact. But so rest in peace. We lost, but we also experienced greatness. So got to be appreciative of that.
Absolutely.
All right. Question of the day: Should women discuss a past sexual conquest with someone she's still friends with if asked by her new partner?
Okay, let me give a little context with this. So I had a debate earlier this week about that. And so the concept was, if you have two people, male and female, that are best friends, and they were in a situation where they wind up having some type of romantic, maybe indiscretion, for lack of a better term, right? Or conquest, as we said, and they're still friends. And then the female gets in a relationship, and the guy she's in a relationship with kind of questions how close she is to her male friend. Like, and he wants to know, did something ever happen between you two of a physical nature? Should she disclose it?
should or will?
Should.
Well, I don't
If
know.
she's
gotta-
asked direct, if
Can we
she's
get
asked
one
directly-
word answers first and then talk about it?
can
Because
you-
I'm curious. You can start. Look, I got my answer.
I think
mean,
we should. Go ahead.
Should.
I think we should get a female's perspective. So with that said,
We should. We definitely
tonight
should.
we have a special guest, my sister from another mister. Jamie, can you bring in Monique, please?
and they need to be best friends. Let them know they're best friends. Okay.
All right.
Best friend.
You adding too much. Let's just turn up. Monique, how's it been? It's been too long since I seen you. What's the
I know.
answer?
Hi,
Should she
everyone.
disclose? Yes or no? Let's go.
Yes, I would say yes. However, so I want to
Mm.
start by saying when I saw this question earlier, and I didn't realize that it specifically said women. I think it should be the same for women and men. But overall, yes, I think that you should disclose. Do I tell you now? Do I tell you now why?
Yes.
I'm going,
Go.
yes. Okay, so you just never know what's going to happen in a relationship. This could be the person that you are going to marry, and it may come up, later on. I understand it's a very uncomfortable conversation, but you have to have that conversation. And then also, if this guy is like my person, I would never want another man to have something like hanging over his head. That's not okay at all.
But Monique, let me ask you a question now. When you're with the guy you're with, the moment you disclose this, your friendship with that best friend is now nullified. That's it. He is not going to accept you two being friends anymore, and you're willing to deal with the kind of residual effect of that.
Yeah.
So you're
You
saying
can't
goodbye
move
to
the
this friend.
goalposts.
That's a reality though, Damien. Can the woman you're with, can she tell you her best friend, the dude she cool with, they slept together before, and now you can take her to the airport, stuff like that. Now everything is good.
What? First of all, now you keep adding stuff.
I'm not adding. I haven't changed one. I haven't changed one thing.
Secrets, like you keep.
I haven't changed one thing. Tell me, it's the same concept.
You said it. Now they best friends. Now he taking her to the airport. Now you know what I'm saying.
They do what best friends do. Can she be like, "Oh, I'm hanging out with my friend. We going to the movies." They happen to have slept together though. Y'all cool with that?
Rubbing lotion on the back.
Added to it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, we just going to the beach. You gonna help me at this topless beach real quick? Like that. You keep adding on to it.
Whatever you do with your friends, Damien. Whatever you do with a friend, you can no longer do it.
We not telling on this show. We not telling.
No,
I don't do nothing with no.
Let Monique go. Let Monique go.
If you're in a relationship, there are certain things that you like. If I'm speaking for myself. If I'm in a relationship, there are certain things that I can't do like with my male friends anymore. I have to spend like less time with them. And this is just my opinion. I don't think that you can be best friends with someone that you were involved with sexually. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
That's a topic in itself. That's interesting.
Right.
I don't agree with that necessarily.
Really?
Yeah, no, because sometimes you could have been, y'all could have had this situation when you were in 10th grade. And now you could be 45 years old. So what I'm saying is you could have 30 years of friendship that you've been there for the person and watched each other go through different relationships. Because I just think at the end of the day, men can't handle it. The male ego is huge and it's very brittle. It's very fragile.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want the women to think that I was like agreeing with the fact that it's not okay to do some things to us, but we understand that y'all can't handle it. It's not okay at all. It's just very unfair. It's going to be like that forever, but I understand. I get it.
Speak for yourself. I don't know about the male ego, but I know about my ego. I be slaying, so it's all good.
I'm just kind of concerned about the word conquest, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it do women have conquest? Like, is that a thing?
Well, I'll defer to Monique on that. Monique.
I don't know. I can't speak for all the women. I would say no, we don't. But I don't know. It's just one woman.
So may I speak to one point that you did make that to me is a concern when you say that a man and a woman can't be friends if they had a sexual involvement. To me, that almost says, and I'm not saying you're saying that, but it can be assumed that there is this belief that men and women can't develop genuine friendships that last. And to me, and I know you're not saying that specifically, but to me, I'm like, I don't want to live in a world where that is just a hard fact, where it creates a certain type of divide mentally, where it's like, because you were born a certain way, something you have no control over, we can never develop a true and lasting friendship. I'm like, man, that sounds crappy.
No, that's not what I said. So men and women,
I know. I'm just saying that statement. It can be taken like that. Yeah. And I know you didn't say it. Right.
I mean, like Damod is my very, very, very good friend. We've been friends for like 18 years. I have male friends who I don't look at romantically. I wouldn't even say that they're like handsome or not handsome. Like, no offense to mine, but I don't even know if you're handsome or not because I don't look at you like that, like at all. But
shout out Big Ron.
Like I said, if the relationship has a romantic foundation, even if it was just for like a small amount of time, I just don't think that a friendship can come out of that. And it could also be because I'm dealing with that right now. Like, I don't want to be friends with this person. We're not friends. We're two people who used to date. We're not friends. That's what it is. Let's call it a spade.
Well, see, the concept, Monique, was if a person is still in your life. See, some people will be like, oh, it's the ex-boyfriend. Who cares? I'm saying a person that is still in your life today. So all right. So Monique, I'm gonna reverse it. So you have you're in a relationship with a guy, and he has a female best friend. I think y'all remember the movie Brown Sugar? Do y'all remember Brown Sugar? Was in my life? Very, very similar. This person that's been cool since they were little. And then they just have a moment of whatever it is. And they have that moment. And once you cross that line, you can't uncross it. You can't go back. Now, could you deal with this guy saying, hey, this is my female friend or whatever? And so one day you just ask, like, hey, did anything physical ever happen? Like, yeah, you know what? Freshman year in college, something happened, whatever like that, but we're still cool, whatever. Can he still be cool with her and be friends with her in your eyes?
I can't tell him. I wouldn't like demand that he not be cool with her or not be friends with her, but I wouldn't be okay with it at all.
Right. Well, that's my point. So even if you don't demand it or whatever like that, if you're not okay with it, then it's not okay. Then it has to go. So that's the thing. So the question is, would he be foul if he does not disclose it? That's the issue right here.
That's fine. Yes, that's really foul. That's not okay. Why would you have, regardless of what happens, you allowing this other woman to have something like over my head, and you're not being transparent. You're not being honest.
That's very
And we're
interesting.
agreeing to put everything on the table. Like, you need to let me know.
So Monique, I'm gonna tell you something. I've asked about 20 people that today in a balance between women and men. And initially, every woman I spoke to was like, I'm not telling. Then all of a sudden, it just caught up. It just evened out. And even guys, one guy told me, he was like, I would tell because if it come out later, it's gonna cause a problem. I'm like, it's two people. How's it gonna come out later? He's like, everything comes out later. So I'm like,
you never know.
That's great. I would hate to lose a close friend. And because we all have close female friends, not saying everybody is going down that path, you know what I'm saying? But that would be very, very tough. So sometimes what you don't know may be more beneficial. Sometimes
but
not
how do you
knowing.
know that? How can you guarantee? Human behavior is unpredictable. How can you guarantee that it won't come up later on?
May I speak to that? Like, but like you talking about a 20, 30-year friendship, are you like, how certain are you of this new partner? Because the statement says new partner. So if you're willing to drop a 20-year best friend for somebody you might have met at the Starbucks or at the club, how do you view that best friend? How do you view that 20 years?
I also think that there are going to be like some other factors that play a role. So if it's like a new partner, or like you're saying now, it's like a 20 or 30-year friendship, those things, you know, they matter as well. If it's like somebody you've been talking to for like a year or so, you know, that's going to play a role in the decision as well.
See, Monique, this is what happens to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Diggy.
Thank you. If you and I got a 20-year friendship and you bring that to me, I'm looking at you like we gonna box. Get the gloves, because if you ready to drop 20 years over the dude that might have fixed your tire, we gonna fight. I'm be like, look, so 20 years of our development and growth.
So what are we saying now? We put a timeline on
No, I wouldn't put a timeline on it, but like I feel like if you, and it doesn't even have to be physical or anything like that, but if you build a real honest relationship with somebody that cares for you, that probably will lay down their life for you in many different situations, and you ready to be like, well, I got a relationship now, I'm dropping you, I'd be like, yo, we should have never been friends to begin with. That was a 20-year. That's the biggest mistake of my life.
Okay, but wait, I feel like we're moving away from the question. You still tell them, but then
honesty. Just be honest.
And if they're saying like, you know, I want you to not be friends with this person, then you have to make a decision.
See, okay, this is what bothers me with you guys. This is what bothers me, and I don't know Monique like this, but this bothers me. You all know that there are times to spare people's feelings. You don't disclose how you feel. There are times when somebody they ask how they look, they ask what you think, and not to hurt their feelings. You know that you have actually not given them the true objective opinion because you don't want to hurt them. And so there are things that we don't release, I'm sure, with our friends in relationships and things. Now, this is what happens to me, Monique. Obviously, I'm a sex symbol, right? So we all know that. That's the given. Okay. So now, when I have female friends and then their significant other come around, then they're like, oh, something must have happened because Kelvin is fly. And I'm sorry, Monique. It just happens. It's not my fault. Nothing I can do about it. It's just the DNA.
I get it. I understand.
You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a double standard. What I'm most curious about on this right now is why I have not heard from the point guard D. That's what I'm curious about. Because I think there's a scroll and waiting.
No. I think because it's just so many people talking. Sometimes it's better just to listen. So you know, but no, it is. But the thing is, like I think Monique, like we said, 20-year friendship. It got to be. I've been in some similar situations, but it got to be a long-term. Like you can't be just somebody you meet and you're like, oh, I've been in with 2-3 years. 2-3 years is really nothing but 6 months. You know, you meet you just learn something. I wouldn't even tell nobody I have a 3-year relationship. Like, oh, no, by the way, this person I slept with in 11th grade is my best friend, but you know we slept with each other. I don't think I would. I'm taking shit to the grave, bro.
See, think about it. Monique said she wouldn't be cool with it. Monique said I would not be cool with it. So that's the risk. Nobody wants to lose Monique. Nobody wants to lose Monique. And then they don't want to lose their friend.
I think thinking about the risk is not fair. You have to be honest and let people decide.
You gotta let them know.
Make their own decision.
But you gotta be the person. Got to be secure that you know the person's secure. Telling like you gotta put testers out there. Like you gotta show them Instagram pages of chicks. Like yo, what you look at this girl together? Like and they be cool with it. So you're like, all right, let me put another feel out there, make sure she's cool. You know, put your foot in the water. Then, if she's cool enough to handle it and she's mature enough to handle the situation, you present. A lot of women ain't mature enough. A lot of women got ego too. I'm just going to say as a man. So, you gotta.
Can I add to that?
Dealing with. Go ahead.
Can I add to that too? So if that new partner is gonna potentially give you pushback, like hard, sturdy, no debate pushback, that might be also a sign of what you're signing up for when you agree to listen to them.
Facts.
I agree.
So I think honestly, yes, you have to be honest, and honestly, if that person can at least try to be understanding at the point, they're already telling you something that you should be paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
If they hit you with the no, that is wrong, and you should never be able to do that. You now trying to control my past, which, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're trying to like dictate what my past and future should be when we just met. Like, isn't that some sign of some word like controlling or whatever? Like, I mean, I just, I would be honest.
I just think that you should be honest and you should allow the person to make their own decision. For the most part, I think I'm kind of leaning toward like you should never walk away from your friend. If it's like a long time healthy friendship, like, don't walk away from your friend. Of course, if it's like you guys slept together in high school or like first year of college or something, don't walk away for your friendship for something that could potentially not last, but you need to be honest and let the person make the decision on their own. And it's kind of sounding like time is playing a big role too, because if it's something maybe like a few years ago, then no, I don't think that's okay. If y'all were dating a few years ago, because people have off and on flings for like 10 years at a time. But if it's like 20 and 30 years ago, then,
Monique, I'm going to tell you what the X factor is to me. The X factor is this, and I'm going to just say it because nobody's saying it. Men don't trust other men, period. Men do not trust other men, period. That's it. That's what it is.
I think that women may, depending on like the details, may go along with it, but men is always going to be.
Men do not trust other men. I don't care what.
Can I say so? Ask you a question on this, Calvin? Do women trust other women? Like, are you saying only men don't trust other men?
I can't really
don't bring them hoes around me. Like,
no, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying when it comes to men, I mean, a dude will fight you over her being friends with a gay dude that don't even want her. It's the principle. Like, a dude does not trust. They ain't even buying it. Dudes don't want to hear it. He don't want to know her gynecologist. He ain't trying to hear it. He don't want nobody that is seeing what he see. Derek, am I right? Am I right, Bob?
I hate to say it. Yeah.
Maybe it's another topic for another show, but why are y'all like this?
Yeah, no, Mo. I think we should save this for another topic.
He was the victim, just so we know.
Listen, let's save this for another topic because we do have another guest, and it was getting late, and we promised the person we running behind. But Monique, I want to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank y'all for having me.
Mo, your hair looks fabulous. Ow.
Thank you so much. Guys.
All right, Mo,
thank you, Mo. Love you, girl.
All right, bye. Love you too. See you later.
All right. Yeah, brothers. Jamie, slow. Jamie, get Monique out, and then we'll read a few of the comments. Okay, there we go.
Standing on top.
Oh, y'all put me. Oh, so I was about to bust a freestyle out. Y'all put me in the front. About to let y'all know.
Oh, okay. Let's go to some of the comments though before we get before I got a guess.
Yeah, let's read some comments.
Let's read some comments, Jamie. Let's get some comments going.
Sean checked in. He said, "We live with lies. Dollar store selling $1 items, $1 van selling rides for $2. Keep it quiet. It's fine. Just drink Johnny Walker." Johnny Walker, get your
Dina. What up?
Dina,
when the dollar van went to 150, I was sick. It was like,
don't trust the big button to smile. Yeah. Shauna, what's up?
See?
He said, "Hell no, we don't trust women we've known forever."
See?
Sean said, "Hey, I trust big butts too much." Now that's going to get you in trouble, my man. Word. Sean said, "I don't put nothing past nobody." LaPonda, Kersey, what's up? Generally, women don't trust each other.
Shout out.
Okay.
Hespera.
Yeah. Right. If you
Hepzibah, that's Hepzibah. D.
I know my sister. I know who she is.
Yeah, Hepzibah.
You read the name.
I was with Derek. I know Derek's brother.
No, I missed it up. Y'all give me a chance to read it.
Yeah. That's what that is. Yeah. Go ahead.
Right?
We got you, bro. We got you. Go
ahead, what's up? She said, "If you moved on from someone, why is your partner so insecure that you would move back? Plus, forcing the end of relationships isn't a foundation."
No. It's not an ex. It's a friend that's current. Not moved on from. It's a friend that's current.
Yeah. Sean says she should confess to the side dude. Relationships are like dew in the morning, short-lived. That friendship will last longer.
That may be fair.
ERT says, I'm not worried about other women. My husband is in no way domesticated. He is well fed. That's
I
what's
hear that.
up. And why would the partner care if they are if you are both are loyal and trust each other? That shouldn't matter. You can be amazing friends with an ex and be in a relationship with a secure man.
I feel that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there also has to be a
Dudes
level
don't
of
operate
respect
that
for the
way.
individual. But there has to be a level of respect in the individual. If you do consider yourself somebody's friend and they want you to respect their relationship and you out constantly disrespecting it, then you're a bad friend in that moment, right?
Right.
You're not the friend that you say you are to that person.
Right.
Listen, man.
I'm not saying about men, women, this. I'm just speaking generally. If you say you're a friend to somebody and they ask you to respect their wishes or respect their relationship and you don't, generally speaking, you'd be like, well, this
No.
person is not acting like my friend. That's
Y'all
all I'm
need to watch
saying.
the LL Cool J Hey Lover video
That's
again.
part of the
All right,
game.
all right,
If you're
all
a
right,
real
Joe.
friend, you got to know.
All right,
You know?
gentlemen, we got a special guest tonight, man. Let's move on to real quick. We got a special guest tonight. We want to have a brother come in tonight and talk about some deep topics. I think some deep and some very concerning to his heart, and we'll make sure and to some of our viewers. Without further ado, I want to bring in my dear brother, Councilman Charles Barron.
Oh, wow.
What up?
Let me put on my specs. Thank you, my brothers.
What's going on, man?
Now
How
I
you
can
feeling?
see you.
Yeah, you can see us now.
Nah, I got you.
How you feeling, brother? How you been, man?
I
see you
feel
since last
great,
week.
man. I feel great. My spirits are up. My
That's good.
energy is up.
Yeah, you hanging
My
with us
fight
too. Late.
is up. I'm
All
ready
right.
to rumble. I feel great.
Ready to rumble. So let's get into it, man. Let's some of the things that's dear to you right now. We know we have a housing issue. We've seen some things where people complain about. We got people coming from other countries over here getting temporary housing faster than people that have been here. What are your thoughts on the housing issues that we're facing right now here in New York City and around the country?
Before you even get to the asylum seekers that are coming in and the conflicts around that, before they even came, we had a homeless issue, a housing issue for our folk right here in our communities. And when you have Black politicians in high places that have the access to power to stop gentrification and they don't do it, that's a greater problem. Let me give you an example. Remember Washington, D.C., we used to call it Chocolate City?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's Marshmallow City because so many whites come in here and there's like 40
the s'mores.
Right. What? Atlanta. I used to go to Atlanta a lot. Atlanta was 70-80% Black. They had 15 council members and about 13 were Black, 2 Latinos. Now they're like 42%, 45% Black, 7 white council members, 7 Blacks, and a Latino. How did Washington, D.C. get gentrified when the mayor was Black and the elected officials, the city council was Black? How does Harlem get gentrified? Bedford-Stuy gets gentrified when the politician, the local politician, is Black. You know they kill me. Some of my colleagues say, "Man, we got to stop them gentrifiers." Well, you brought them in, damn it. You the ones that let them in. And let me tell you how that works real quick. The way a community gets gentrified is through what they call the area median income, the AMI. My beloved East New York, my district is not gentrified. When I came into office, we were like about 67, 68% Black and 20% Latino, 80 some odd percent. We are 91% Black and brown now, 20 years later. We stopped gentrification. And not because I'm all that, but because we got some spine. We stand up to mayors, we stand up to speakers, and we say, no, you're not bringing that in this particular district. And that's because of power. This is how it works, y'all. The city council has the power. It's always about power. Power is the great equalizer. You don't want racism this, racism that. We got to fight against them racists. Oh, that Donald Trump, or all the white lefties, white right-wing conservatives doing this and that. It's about power. Power is the ability to act. Power is the ability to make decisions in your own best interest. We confuse influence with power. When we have to demonstrate, scream, holler, and persuade people in power to make decisions for us, that's influence. When you have the actual seat where you make a decision, that's power. I stopped Walmart from coming into East New York without a single demonstration, and I'm all for demonstrations. You know, I'm going to wear out every pair of shoes I have and demonstrate because it's needed. But I didn't have to because we had power. This is how it works. The city council has 4 pieces of power. 1, the city council passes the budget, not the mayor. The city council determines what's going to be built on city-owned land. The city council makes that decision. So a developer comes into my neighborhood, Mr. Barron, council member, we're going to build like 200 units of affordable housing in your neighborhood. And I say, affordable to who? How are you defining affordability? And this is how they get my colleagues. HUD, Fed say affordability is 80% of New York City's AMI. The AMI is the area median income. So 80% of New York City is $90,000 for a family of 3, because New York City's AMI is $104,000 for a family of 3. So if you're saying that's affordability, then I asked the next question to the developer. Well, do you know my neighborhood AMI? He said, no. I said, sir, this meeting is terminated because you insulted my intelligence. You came in here and told me you're going to build affordable housing, and you don't even know the income level of the people that live in my district. I made him go away. He said, no, I can get that right now. All I got to do is put, no. I made him wait 3 weeks. And he came back. I said, now what's my neighborhood AMI? $36,000 for a family of 3. That's my neighborhood AMI. So if you're building housing that's going to require an income level of $90,000, white folk are coming in because only about 5-10% of the people in my district make $100,000 and $90,000. So I had the power because the city council takes that project and says, what do you want, Barron? Any local council member, you want it? And I said, no, I got to make some adjustments. So he came back and I said, hey, guess what? This is what it's going to be, whether you like it or not. 80% of the developed housing departments is going to be for those making 30, 40 household income. And then the other 20% can be for those who are making 60, 70, 80. That's how we stop gentrification. So I've had over 20,000 units of housing come into my beloved East New York, not one market rate apartment. And the other thing I tell them about, after I get the income right, what's the rent going to be? Oh, we're going to do 50 studios for $1,500 a month. No, you're not. First of all, you ain't doing 50 studios because most of our people have 2 and 3 family members. Studio, East New York, $500 a month. A 1-bedroom, $800 a month. A 2-bedroom, $1,100 a month. A 3-bedroom, $1,200. Unheard of in New York City. Unheard of. But you have the power to do that, because if he didn't do it, I was telling the committee that he had to go get his program, his development approved, that I don't want it, and they would vote no. That's how you stop gentrification.
Can I ask you a question, Charles? Real quick. Now I know you're saying like when Chicago, not Chicago, you said DC, the land they changed up. Is it like, I know how you mentioned like our dear brother Karan, like you and my brother Stan Kennard, God bless Stan Kennard. Like,
yeah, that's my man.
And you know, that was my dude right there. You know what I mean? But anyhow, you think it's young people not want to get involved in politics that look like us more, and that's how these other states and stuff like changed up, or what is it that, you know, because y'all fight the power, you want to be understood political power, but do the young people even care as much to get involved like how Quran and
Well,
brothers
you
like
know,
that?
Quran is a young man, 20-something years old. We have some young people.
Oh,
but I
you
think
give him the benefit of the doubt. Quran in his 30s. Let's keep it real.
Well, he just could. Yeah, he's getting it. He's getting it. But you know, some people don't want like the system. You know, all politicians are liars. Politics ain't this and I talked to some young people. I ain't into that politics, man, because you know that ain't getting me nowhere. I said, you may not be into politics, my brother, but politics is into you, because everything that happens in our community is a political decision. You want jobs, it's a political decision where the jobs are going. You want to open that school program, the school buildings for having some night. Remember, we used to have night center, play ball, and all of that. That's a political decision. Who gets incinerators built in their community, homeless shelters in their community? A political decision. You can't think of anything that isn't a political decision. You may not be into politics, but for sure, politics is into you. So what do you want to control it or have it control you? Because you're in it whether you like it or not. So I showed them that one, you don't have to be an Uncle Tom, ain't your mama, sell out Negro and give up all of your identity. I am a black revolutionary, not former Panther, a Panther, still a Panther to my heart. I don't say this just in front of y'all in your program. I say this at City Hall. I said it in the State Assembly. We were able to take on the mayor, the governor. I'm in their face. And still, 3 new $88 million schools came into East New York under the leadership of Inez Barron, my wife, who was in the city council and the state assembly, and myself. How did I do that? I got on a committee that was building new schools, the School Construction Authority. And I told them that, wait a minute, this is 2-3 meetings. I don't see a school being built in the black community. What the hell, you know? Next week, I have one in East New York. Week after that, another one. I'm talking 80 some odd $1 million schools. Parks, went to the Parks Department. You know, what's up? I see you renovating these parks in these white communities. I'd love to have you brothers come to East New York and take y'all on the tour of East New York. You'll see how many parks, over $60-70 million worth of parks renovated. We have 3 new $88 million schools. We got a new community center called the Prince Joshua Evito Community Center. Young brother was killed by a deranged, mentally disturbed brother, stabbed him like 11 times, 7-year-old in the elevator in the public housing. Prince Joshua Evito, we named the center after him. Now, Man Up Inc., A.T. Mitchell and them, we fund their program. They're in that center. And in 30 years, the developer made a deal with him. We're going to get the center for $1. And right now, come on, I can't do that just demonstrating. You got to get some power. So I tell my young people, you want a gig? Elected officials can we got over 6,000 jobs. Y'all know where the Gateway Mall is out there in East New York. We brought all of that stuff in. They wanted to bring Walmart in there and deny us jobs. They would have taken up all the space. And that's a little plantation where you don't get paid any real money. And, you know, the living conditions are terrible. So, you know, we make sure that our people get jobs, over 6,000 jobs. So then I say, okay, you said, Ben, you know, Charles, man, you're going to give me a job? I got you a job. You're going to make sure I have a affordable house? We did that. Now you're going to get down in the movement? Or you're going to get down in the struggle against this capitalist system that created the poverty in the first place? And I can't get you enough jobs to get us out of poverty. That's going to take revolution, radical systemic changing of the system. So our people want to know, are you going to meet our basic needs, or you just talking stuff? Nobody wants to hear no revolutionary, empty rhetoric unless it's coupled with you delivering something. That's what the Black Panthers were about. It wasn't just about the guns and all of that. J. Edgar Hoover said that the most dangerous portion of the Black Panther Party program was the free breakfast program, because it was feeding children breakfast, but, you know, educating them on the system. And they were afraid that these young people would grow into revolutionaries too. So when they invaded a Panther headquarters, they saw the guns, they went and got the food. that we were feeding to the children and destroyed that first because they were more fearful of that. Steve Biko said it best. The most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. So we got to make radical change.
Mr.
New York State. I'm sorry, brother.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Mr. Barron. I want to ask the person who wants to follow in your shoes, the person who wants to do what you do. And I, first of all, thank you for coming on tonight and have been an admirer from a distance for a long time. A young person that wants to get in and break into serving communities at some point. What do you recommend for a young person now who's young and they're coming up? What should they do first?
I would tell them to do what I did first. When I came out to East New York, I joined the Block Association. I got into that was easy. It was elderly women and no men were coming to the meetings. I was one of the first men to come to the meeting. First meeting I came to, they were so happy to see me. They voted me president at the first meeting. I said, wait a minute. So about eight sisters joined that. They had a store selling drugs on the corner. And I said, look, I'm not going to get us in no trouble. We're just going to put up signs. Drug-free zone under video watch. And so we put that all up and down. And then I said, now twice a week, we're just going to march up and I'm going to go by the store. I'm not going to confront nobody because I don't want to get us in trouble. I'm going to introduce myself. You know, one brother said, I said, yo, bro, what's your name? How you doing? I'm Tech 9. Hey, brother Tech, how you doing? You know, and 2 weeks later, it was shut down. They were gone, and they got another, you know, so that happened. Then they tried to they wanted to build an environmentally hazardous incinerator in my community. Organize, my young brothers and sisters, organize. You got to go into community and organize. You got to go to Block Association meetings, Tenant Association meetings, and public housing. You got to deal with our seniors. Go to the senior citizen centers, you know, visit the seniors, organize around issues. If you think you can just get some posters and put your picture up there, say you're running for office, I ain't gonna get it. That's not what I did. I got down in the community, and I was getting down so much that the people said, we want you to run. The people said, we want you to run. We want you to be the councilman. I said, I'm not into that electoral politics. I don't want to be no politician. I said no for a year. And then I said, wait a minute, there's power there. And that's how I'll do. So if young people want to get down, organize in your community.
Let me ask you another question real quick. Mm-hmm. Now we talking about young people organizing. We know we in East New York. How do this gun violence problem that's going on? I know we talked about the gun violence that's plaguing our community. How do you think we get to this? What do you think some of the things the mayor should do? What should people in the community do? How can we solve this issue?
You mean Mayor Cop Adams?
Oh. Listen, brother, don't get me in trouble.
He is a cop and he is the mayor. Why would you be in trouble? That's what he is.
Yeah.
First of all, when you look at guns, you got to look at the supply and the demand. And you got to take it on from the supply and the demand. So now if you see the supply side, we don't make the guns, we don't manufacture the guns. So we got to fight to stop them from coming in our communities and put more legislation out there that makes it harder for gun manufacturers to get away with selling these guns and make it harder for the street to get the guns that are coming in from the South and some, you know, carry states and all of that. So you got to fight it on the supply side first. But the most important side is the demand side. And that's the side where a young person wants a gun. Why? I used to meet with some of I'm still in East New York. I used to bring some of the youngsters up my house and have some on Wednesdays. And we used to have some talk. I said, now, I got to have a gun, Charles, because these Negroes are crazy out here and I got to protect myself. So I need to be armed. And I said, brother, let's have a real conversation. How many people do you know that if it wasn't for their gun, they would be dead today because their gun saved their life? So y'all know it don't roll like that. It ain't like people gonna come up to you like it's OK Corral time I'll challenge you to a draw at 12 noon. They drive by and shoot you. You don't even get a chance to pull out your gun. So it's not real protection. So let's get real. I said, I grew up in the project. This is what got me through. This is what got me through. I didn't have too many fights. I knew all the killers. I knew the gangsters. I knew the dope dealers. I knew everything. I introduced them to my mother so they didn't mess with my mom. You got to get through with your mind. And then we have to have something for our youth. We need trade schools. So if they're not going to go ahead, and get an academic degree in college and all of that, let them learn how to be carpenters and plumbers and electricians. And so I'm having a trade school built in my district. Get them to that. Then a group like Man Up Inc., A.T. Mitchell, we fund them. He hires 55, 60, we got millions of dollars to them. So now they hire 50, 60 people, brothers and sisters that just came out from incarceration that couldn't get a gig anywhere else. Now they gigging and they're out there cutting off some of the conflicts. Because, once we see a shooting, we know there's going to be a retaliation. Once there's one, it's uh-oh. So we got to cut off the retaliation. And so the supply and demand, you got to get to our people's minds, get them in more culturally stuff, have more institutions in the community that take them off the streets and into certain things. We have in that PJ Center, I have a recording studio. So they can come in there and cut all of their stuff, and that they want to do a podcast or whatever, they can do it from that studio for free. So we got to deal with supply side and the demand side.
Yeah. So what do you think when Eric Adams was talking about bringing more cops onto we need more police in the neighborhoods? What are your thoughts on that?
First of all, Eric Carrick, I've known for 40 years. He is a big disappointment, huge disappointment. We have $102.7 billion city budget. You hear me? $102.7 billion city budget. And the budget is broken up into two pieces, the expense budget and the capital budget. The capital budget is $164 billion for 10 years. So I confronted Eric. I said, Eric, I don't know, and some of his people, I don't know of a single person that gets up and says, you know what? I'm going to enter this world of crime because they don't have enough police out here. I think I'll be a criminal because they didn't build enough jails. I think I'll be a criminal. Not a person ever does that. I'm getting out there because I'm desperate. I need some money. I ain't got no gig. So I want to get some money. Right now, crime is going through the roof. Eric just signed a negotiated settlement with the PBA, the Police Benevolent Association Union. I call them the Police Brutality Association. He just signed, gave them a 4% raise. We have 50,000 cops, 50,000. 35,000 of them are on the street, and 15,000 are civilians in the precincts and doing all the stuff, paperwork. 50,000 more than ever, and they have an $11 billion budget, and crime is shooting through the roof because that is not the answer, and he knows it. So once he failed, you know what he starts saying? Oh, it's because of that bail reform y'all passed in Albany. You heard him always saying that? Bail reform.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a lie. It's a lie. It's not a mistake. He's not ignorant. He's lying because he has to find a reason why crime went up and he got all these cops out here. So he said, bail reform. You're letting people out with no bail and they're the ones committing the crimes. Let me show you how that's a lie. I was debating one of his guys, and I said, come on now, you know that's not true. And he said, Charles, last week, a judge let a young man out on bail, and he did an armed robbery and shot somebody. I said, I want you to listen to what you just said. The judge let him out on bail. Our bill says no cash bail. So if our bill says no cash bail, any judge that lets somebody out on bail has nothing to do with our bill.
Mm-hmm.
Our bill was for minor, non-violent misdemeanors. You remember Kalief Browder?
Yes, sir.
He would be alive today if our law was in place, because it would have said Kalief Browder was accused of stealing a backpack. $3,000 bail. They couldn't have done that without bill. He had no priors. It was a nonviolent misdemeanor, ROR, released and on his own recognizance. He would have been out. These are pre-trial detainees. These aren't people who committed a crime. We're saying if you're a pre-trial detainee on Rikers Island, there's no speedy trial. It takes you 2-3 years even to go to a trial. Let you out on your own recognizance. That was the no cash bail bill. And 95% of the people that was let out on no cash bail did not commit another crime. He's lying because he is failing to bring down crime like he promised his white real estate developers who are funding his campaign. I'm going to make New York City more profitable for you. They gave him millions of dollars. I'm going to do all of that for you. I'm going to get those homeless encampments off the streets. Remember, he went and took all their property because it doesn't look good for his white Wall Street buddies who funded his campaign. He's not ours. He's theirs. He brought back the street crime unit of Giuliani's. Remember them?
Oh, yeah. TNT.
He brought that back. De Blasio, who I ain't crazy about, he took him off the streets. Eric brought back solitary confinement. De Blasio stopped it. I fought de Blasio, but Eric is making de Blasio look like a revolutionary. He's so bad. So he did that. He's against no cash bail. He's paying the police. This budget, he cut 4% from every agency. 4% from every agency. Health. Mental health is why people commit crimes. Unemployment is why people commit crime. Poverty is why people commit crime. I said, Eric, we should have a multi-billion-dollar anti-poverty program. Why don't we have a workforce development program and more money for mental health, more youth centers? He could have taken $200 million from that $164 billion and built 10 centers like my one in East New York and had these young people run it, pay them, and get off the streets. He's a
I got one more question. I think that's dear to you, and I think people don't know the history, how you played an intricate role in is reparations. On what are your thoughts on reparations, and tell the history of how you had to play in New York State, and what do you think reparations on a federal level, and how would it look to you, and what is the hold of why black folks, people know reparations talking about for black people of enslaved descent?
Well, first of all, reparations is a debt owed. We got to understand it is a debt owed for 200-300 years of enslavement and for Jim Crowism and the segregation and the racism in the South and for present day discrimination and not giving us our fair share. It's a debt owed. It's not something that you give doing us a favor. Reparations is a debt owed. That's number one. Number two, I had a bill, I still have it in New York State when the New York State Assembly. New York City and New York City was the largest slaveholding city in the country, only second to Charleston, South Carolina. New York City came into existence, you all remember that, in 1625, 1626. The Dutch came and called it what? New Amsterdam. And they stole the land from the indigenous people, the Lenape, the Algonquin, the Manhattas. They stole it from them and then stole us from Africa to build it. So we came here, and then the English were fighting the Dutch for New York and our enslavement. So in 1625, 1626, the Dutch had it. 1664, they called it New Amsterdam. 1664, the English took it, and they had the Duke of York with them, so they called it New York. And that's how they got its name. 1712, the Africans in New York rose up and killed a lot of the whites who owned who enslaved us, and even burnt the governor's mansion. In response, a lot of them were killed, hung, and all of that. But the whites got nervous in New York and said, hey, you better do something about slavery because these folk ain't playing. And then in 1796, they had what they call gradual emancipation. Well, you know, after 25 years, we'll let your little boys go, and after 27 years, we'll let your girls go. So by 1827, that's when New York abolished slavery. But it stayed to about 1840. Most of the names in the streets of Brooklyn are named after slaveholders. Skank Avenue, Skank, slaveholder, one of the biggest ones. Van Siclen, slaveholder. Washington, Jefferson, slaveholders. First, 13, 14, 16 presidents were slaveholders. So we say, you owe us reparations. You can't work us for all those years on the plantation and tell us forget about it because y'all weren't enslaved with your ancestors. They didn't say that to the Jews. They didn't say that to the Japanese. When the Japanese were interned in 1942 on concentration camps, 1988, they got 1.6 billion reparations for their internment. Now you're going to give it to the Japanese? The Jews are still getting paid from Germany and corporations for their enslavement in Germany. And it's time for the Africans to get paid. So what I did is I put a bill together and said, look, I know y'all going to argue about who's going to get it. How much? Put a commission together that's controlled by the community. I'm the only one, we're the only one that has a bill in the country where a reparations commission will be controlled by the community. 6 from the community, 5 from the state, and let them have for a whole year, give them $500,000 and have hearings and all of that and come up with who's eligible to receive it, how much, and what form. Let the hearings begin. And I don't support those groups that come out of nowhere and say, oh, it should be just African Americans, and start dividing us. Like none for African if he's from Africa and a citizen of America, or is he from the Caribbean? No, Black people should get it, period. Don't let them divide us and conquer us by having us fighting each other. So now groups are fighting, who should get it. I don't want you to get it, ain't nobody giving any of us anything. We better unite. So that's what reparations, it's a dead old. My bill passed the assembly. Now we're trying to get it out of the Senate, and then they had to do it over again because I'm now in the city council. So now they're looking at some bills. Some corporations like Aetna and others, they used to take out insurance on us for the enslaver because we were their property, just like your house insurance. Those companies got to pay. And that's what we're talking about, paying a debt owed, and then telling the story and letting our young people know what happened in this country. Tell the truth.
Mr. Barron, let me ask you this question. I notice, and a lot of young people are so discouraged that somebody with the stroke of a pen could just send $40 billion to Ukraine, that everybody's plight seems to always be a priority over ours. So I always wanted to know, my thinking used to always be, as you said, power, and I look at it through an economic lens. If you don't do something for us, then I don't want Gucci and Prada and BMW and all the things that we support and give our money to. How do we hold other corporations? How do we hold their feet to the fire? I always thought it should be addition by subtraction, just to hold our purse back. What do you suggest as far as making some people accountable for these companies that we make rich?
I agree with you. The boycott, withdrawing our money, from these sources is a powerful way of doing it. But you know, our people, we got to get our people together. It's all here. You know how hard it is. I remember one year we wanted to boycott the Daily News, and I ain't boycotting that Daily News. You know, I told them we ain't having Walmart coming in. We got to have Walmart. But boycotting is one way, or withdrawing on having our economics together. The other way is through making people, put people in office that's not going to allow them to have a bill where you send money to the Ukraine. And if you do, right here in New York, in this budget here, this is what I'm saying, my brothers, that can be so powerful. Right here in New York, we are the majority, Black and brown people. In the population, we are the voting majority. We're the majority in the city council. A Latino brother put in the budget to give $1 million to the Jews whose family experienced the Holocaust. Ain't nothing in New York City, ain't nothing to do with the Holocaust. But they got $1 million because Black people voted for that. I didn't vote for the budget. I'm screaming, I'm hollering. $1 million for that? Oh, he's anti-Semitic. I said, well, yeah, you just call me what you want, but $1 million for Holocaust, and you don't want to give Black people nothing? So if we can get people like Eric Adams, there is a thing called neocolonialism. The new way to colonize us is to put Black faces in high places, but maintain the same policies as the white boy. So look at New York State, classic example of neocolonialism. The head of the assembly, Black. The head of the Senate, Black. The attorney general, Black. The mayor, Black. The speaker of the city council, Black. The public advocate, Black. The police commissioner, Black. The chancellor of schools, Black. Borough presidents, 2 or 3 Blacks. DAs, Blacks. Head of unions, Blacks. Come on now. All of that Black? White boys are behind the scene pushing these Blacks out there that ain't going to do reparations. Pushing these Blacks out there that are going to make sure Wall Street still makes all the money, because the white boy knows they don't have the power anymore. And the worst thing you can do is have power in your hands and either don't realize it or don't use it. Adam Clayton Powell said, use what's in your hands. You got the power in your hands. You don't have to suck up to them for a little program. You don't have to suck up to them because you want to be mayor or you want to be governor. We could do it with us. But they're so used to, you know how they say, Carter G. Woodson said, if there wasn't a back door, we would carve one out and make one so we can go through the back door. They just don't understand the power we have. So you're on the right track. You got to use the power. We have economic power. We have political power. We have spiritual, cultural power. We got to use it for the betterment of our people. Look what we did in East New York. They didn't want us. I had to fight against a machine. Negroes. Wasn't no white people trying to stop us. It was the Black puppets of the Democratic Party that didn't want us in office. And we're doing all this great work, and they want some knuckleheads. They fund some knuckleheads who don't know how to spell their own names just so that they're loyal to the machine. And why would you be against somebody like Operation Power and Quran and Inez and all of us when we brought in, 3 schools and did all of this stuff, and you're going to be against us with some fools? This is the challenge we have. So I'm really pushing people. No more complaints. No more whining. Don't break down the problem for me. We're masters in breaking the problem down. Solutions. Ultimately, revolution is the solution. But in the meantime, we got to get some gigs. We got to get some food. We got to get some housing. And we can get that through this electorate. I tell young people, that's where the power is. I got $50 million worth of scholarships for CUNY students, Inez and I, in the 20 years we've been in office. $50 million. We started a Black Male Initiative on CUNY campuses. Millions of dollars focusing on Black men getting their degrees. Because I was in there and I said, wait a minute, you got an immigrant study, you got a Puerto Rican study, you giving them money. I want a Black Male Initiative. And we got it. Y'all would be shocked how much money is out here and things you get. If the 5 of us was in the city council, whoa, do you know each one of you would get $5 million a year for capital projects in your district? Every council member gets that. $5 million to fix up your parks and all of that. You would get another $500,000 to fund programs. Man Up, food programs. Each one of us would have this. That's 5, 10, 15, 20. That's $25 million between us. And you would even have $500,000 to hire staff. That's why I could hire Karan Allen. He's my deputy chief of staff. Good brother. He can get a decent salary. He can get health benefits and work in the community. That was one of the problems with us in the 60s. Okay, everybody was broke. But we had Stokely, all of them, they got speaking engagements, gave it all to the movement. Martin gave all of his to the movement. The Panthers were speaking all over the place, put it all back in the movement, and they personally suffered. Who's going to hire a Black Panther? Who's going to hire me even? But we get a salary for doing all of this. There's so much that young people could do with this if they got in there. You see them 2 young brothers in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Those are young brothers. They're not revolutionaries. They were just saying, hey, I'm tired of the little babies dying. We want to have tougher gun laws. And look what they did. But they do the same thing here, but not to that extreme. Right today, the mayor was presenting, Eric Adams was presenting his budget. And he knows I know the budget because I went through 14 years of budgets. He only been through 2. And he knew I was going to tell the truth on how he was doing us wrong. So he called this virtual meeting, and I raised my hand first. He kept ignoring me, 5, 6 speakers. So I pushed the button. I said, Mayor, my hand was raised first. Don't interrupt us. I said, no, my hand was raised first, and your staff never once calling on me because I'm going to tell the truth. Mute him. This is what your mayor did.
Eric Adams did it.
Eric Adams.
Wow.
Mute him. Because he was giving figures and he knew I knew the real figures. So they punish with me. They'll say they'll give another council member, they'll put all of their bills in and they won't put mine in. That's the same thing they did to them brothers, except they went to the extreme. They expelled them. They used to give me the least amount of capital money. Now we make it equitable because we passed a law that everybody got to get the same. But they used to give me $2 million and others $5 million. That's how they punish you.
See, what they should do, like how C-SPAN and places like that, these conversations should be viewed to the public. It should be like with technology that we have now. There's no way it should be in closed room doors anymore, and people can see what's really going on.
Let y'all see it. Then y'all would have said, well, he wouldn't have done that. It was open to the public.
Yeah, it should be to the public. It should be. Yeah, they got to change the way. So if you got
the Democratic Party punishes you, just like the Republicans, except the Republicans are more extreme. So everybody say Donald Trump, Biden. We got this brother from Florida, Omali Yeshitela, an African People's Socialist Party. The FBI, this brother has been for reparations, and they got housing, and they got businesses for our people. They're socialists. They were against Ukraine and for Russia. Do you know they invaded him, invaded his home, messed up all of his businesses that they have? They have stuff all over the place, and now they're indicting them. Talking about they got money from Russia. What are you talking about? Russia talked them into fighting against. for reparations so they could divide Americans. We've been fighting against reparations for 50 years. But right now, this man is indicted under Biden, not Trump, Biden. And remember, it was the Democrats, Barack Obama, that murdered Muammar Gaddafi from Libya. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton killed him.
Yep.
African leader that was talking about, and with the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they were talking about a United States of Africa.
Yep.
And they were talking about having a currency later for the dollar, later for the British pound, a currency for Africans, a central bank for Africa, later for the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank that's controlled by capitalism.
So what do you think the devalued dollar means for the reparations argument? You know, you have this BRICS currency development coming out. What do you think that means for the reparations argument?
Yeah, that's
is more or less possible?
Question. That's a very good question. I think the dollar has been devalued, but that's why I think we should get land. Make sure you get land. But the dollar, they're trying to bring it back, and that's part of Brexit and all of that, and EU and all of that. It's the currency issue.
Right.
And they're trying to bring more value to that and back it up with the gold, because they know Africa has all the gold. Africa is a rich continent. It's the people of Africa that are poor because everybody's exploiting it. And they put black faces in high places in Africa. That's what we got to understand. Neo-colonialism, the new way to colonize us in Africa, is to put black faces as the prime minister and let the black party be in place. But the Europeans control the land, the mining, and all the resources. And then the real authentic revolutionaries, they are pressing them to keep them away from the stooges that they have. That's what they're doing here. So, but it's kind of quiet. They don't see we don't see black communities as a colony of capitalism. You know what a colony is? Is when a foreign state takes over a sovereign state and extracts its resources and exploits its labor. We don't own anything in our communities. We don't own anything. We are worse than they were in 1920 when we had Rosewood and we had Tulsa. When we had Tulsa and Rosewood, we owned the land. They even owned the oil well in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We own the politics. We owned all of the social culture institutions, but that's because we had to, because we couldn't integrate with the whites. So we said, "The hell with y'all. We're doing our own thing," and we start flourishing. The whites got jealous. What did they do? They bombed Tulsa. They burnt down Rosewood, and now here we are in the 21st century, over a $1 trillion consumer nation, and own nothing.
One of the problems I had, and I had an issue with this. We had a debate many years ago on this show, a couple of years ago, about ownership. And I remember Bob Johnson sold BET, which was a media outlet, which bothered me. And then I look back, Don Cornelius was almost strong-armed by Dick Clark, but he refused to give up Soul Train. It is something about having that equity. But what I realize is all these trends we start, all these ideas we start, even hip hop starting it seems like we will always either forfeit it or somebody's going to come and strong arm us for it. How do we prevent that? Is that a mentality, or is that actually a real tangible concept?
You're asking some excellent questions. We have to get away from individualism. See, capitalism breeds individualism. So yeah, we got to get away from the capitalist structure where an individual owns the enterprise. Johnson, so he could sell it because he's the only one that owns it. We got to get into community land trust, collective ownership of enterprises. It's like, instead of like me owning it and hire y'all, y'all make a little salary, the workers should own the enterprise. We got to get into collective ownership, because if you do individual capitalistic structure, that's what's going to happen. because that one person can make the decision if they're the majority shareholder. But if the workers and the community own the enterprise, you can't do that. Like now, I have an East New York community land trust. You know, they used to give these white boys who are rich land for $1. For $1, right, bro? For $1. Why not give it to the community?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a community land trust and say, we want to own land.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you're into survival, you're looking for a job. You want to pay the rent, and I don't blame you because you got to pay rent. You're looking for food and clothes on your back. That's how capitalism gets you. And if you don't want to just survive and you want to thrive, then you're looking to get some businesses, own your own businesses. Let's get into the stock market and all of this stuff. You ain't out doing capitalism. They'll let you in. Don't talk revolution. Don't talk socialism instead of capitalism. Once you start talking about socialism, see, most of our people, everybody's talking out against racism. Racists talk against racism. Nancy Pelosi was kneeling with a kente cloth on, and you know they had Hakeem and all of them, all the Toms around her. They had her kneeling with kente cloth. But we get proud. Oh, Hakeem is the head of the Democratic Party. Get out of here. He ain't headed nothing. He ain't headed nothing. Oh, Barack Obama is the president of the United States. Really? You really believe he's controlling the United States? Are you out of your mind? You think the generals and the corporations are under the control of Barack Obama? Vice President Kamala Harris, where is she? I ain't seen nothing. They have no power. None. So we got to start examples of it. So like in East New York, we got a community land trust. Let's see, how can we do this? So now that I'm in the city council, I said, wait a minute, I still got land in East New York. And I wanted to go to this land trust. Oh, do they have money to finance it? No, just like y'all got free money from the government. You know what these white rich boys get from the government? They call it subsidies. Subsidies. We will subsidize you, and they get tax breaks on land. So they get tax breaks. You pay more taxes than some of them. They get tax breaks on land, and they get subsidies, free money, your free money to build affordable housing. Well, look, we're going to be, what's your name, Kelvin?
Yes.
We're going to be the Kelvin developers. We want land for $1, and we want free money, subsidies. You don't have to know how to build affordable housing. You can hire a general contractor, and he'll build it or she'll build it. That's what these white boys do. But they get government money. Look at the banks. You know, the bank crashed. What's that bank out there, the Technical Bank?
Oh yeah,
Silicon.
Yeah.
You know how they got out of trouble? The government bailed them out. Remember when Steers and Goldman Sachs and all of them crashed? Oh, they're capitalists when they're making money. We don't want no government intrusion. And when they're in trouble, we need a bailout. Come on, government. They become socialist. They become socialist when they're in trouble. Government, get involved. Bail us out. Capitalists when they make money. Leave us alone. See, we got to take our public dollars. That's why I'm in the public sector. We got to take our public dollars and say, I want some of that to go to us. That center I was telling you about, the Prince Joshua Oviedo Community Center, after 30 years, we're getting that for $1. Y'all got to come. I got to show you all around. You'll see that center. We're going to get it for $1 because I made that in the agreement with the developer before I signed on to it. For $1. So we got to understand that this is a capitalist country. Capitalism is killing us. They're never going to let you equally integrate into capitalism. They'll let a few rich people get a few billionaires like some rappers and Oprah Winfrey and Michael Jordan. Let some of you through. See, just work hard like them and you can get through too. No. You measure the progress of our people by the masses. How are the masses doing? What's the percentage of poverty? 30, 40%. What's the percentage of unemployment? Double digits. Homelessness, 14, 20 shelters in our districts. But you got some people that are making it. You'll let a few in to make it appear that capitalism works if you work hard. You think we didn't work hard during slavery?
About that, right? Let me ask you this one last one for me. And I've always had a problem with this. I thought this was a conflict of interest. So Michael Bloomberg comes into office, and obviously he makes $1 a year salary, comes into office worth $4 billion, leaves office with a third term, which was unheard of, worth $16 billion. He built and owns beachfront property in Rockaway, and a complete neighborhood that Michael Bloomberg built and owns of beachfront property in Rockaway. I always used to ask this question: why would a billionaire and a media mogul want to be the mayor of New York?
Excellent. You're asking some deep questions, bro. Excellent question. Because when Michael Bloomberg came in, that's when I came in, the city budget was $60 billion. He didn't have $60 billion. So why would he want to be? I'll tell you why. If I were mayor, and you, my brother, you had a toilet paper company, and I have 1,000 public schools that need toilet paper, and I have a $30 billion school Department of Education budget, brother man, you are a millionaire. If my other brother was into food and had a food service, catering service, the kids need lunch and breakfast, you're getting that contract for that. And if my brother, the top there was that Damien. Mm-hmm. If Damien was publishing some books and wanted it in the 1,000 schools to the 1.1 million children, Damien's a millionaire. Contracts. That's why he got in it. It's all about contracts. Right now, Adams is giving these contracts to these white boys. They getting rich as we get poorer. And then he's anyway, I don't want to get too much. He just gets on the last word. But it's contracts. That's why these rich folk get into, that's the capitalist system. It's a privatized economy. Remember healthcare, Obamacare, the best thing we ever had. The private insurance companies were laughing their way to the bank. In Cuba and Angola and Venezuela, healthcare is free. The government pays for it. That's socialism. And even in Canada, the government pays for it. When they take taxes out of your hard dollars, they provide free healthcare and free education. Capitalism makes money off of everything as a profit. Food. I bought 2 packages of food on this, and they didn't even have much in there to eat. It was over $100. Mm-hmm. You come out cheaper eating your money.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Word. I'm telling you, capitalism has gone mad. And so that's how Bloomberg went. And he has a Bloomberg Communications thing, so they can get contracts. So he'll take his name off it, or he takes his interest out, and then gets all these contracts. It's contracts. And that's how his worth went up, because he had all these connections, all these contracts were happening. His net worth went up from, like you said, 4 or 5 billion to 20 some odd billion by the time he left. Right now, I mean, if I was into that, If I was really into capitalism instead of me revolutionary radical socialist, man, I know exactly what to do. I would be a lobbyist. And I would get a bunch of, I know the ends of City Hall and I know the state assembly and I got contacts with people. I'd make millions of dollars easily. I wrote a book. All I had to do was say, hey, you know, get my book in there and millions would have been in the system. It's about contracts and capitalism and profit. And that's why we get poorer and the rich get richer. Because they make more. You know, during the COVID, Wall Street on average used to average like 22 billion in profit every year from Wall Street. When COVID hit in 2021, they made 50 billion profit and 58 billion profit. During COVID, you know, every time there's a depression or the crises, the corporations make a killing because nobody else can afford to spend anything. So property becomes foreclosures, they buy it up. That's how the Kennedys got rich. They just buy stuff up during depression. And so we got to say, okay, now what do we do? Let's get into this electoral arena. Let's see how this works. We're in the #1 city in the world, New York City, the most powerful city in the world. The United Nations, the world meets here. New York City. New York City, the media capital of the world. New York City, the cultural capital of the world. And guess what? Black and brown people are the majority. And the most powerful city council in the world, Black and brown people are the majority. And how come it's not benefiting us? Because we got Negroes, we got sellout Negroes in those powerful positions. And you're just happy to see a Black face in a high place, a president, a mayor. Come on. Come on. You know, the masses are suffering. And I go in there and I talk like this to my folk, and they say, you know, you're right. I said, don't you write me. You let Mayor Adams walk in here. Y'all be asking him for his autograph. You know, after I said all of that, you'll say, oh, the mayor's here. Oh my God, gotta take a picture with you. Gotta take a picture, you know.
Now I was at a place last week. I didn't take a picture with him. I was right next to him.
Yes, you did. I know you did. You
No, I know I didn't. No, I didn't,
Confess,
Charles.
brother.
Nah,
Man.
Nah, man. I was at Rochester. I was with the seniors from East over in the P-Jack, and I didn't take a picture. People asked me to take the picture of them with the mayor, but I didn't take any picture of the mayor. I was good.
No, if you did, I would understand.
Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. But ladies and gentlemen,
I was waiting for you to confess, but
nah. Before I know, we held you on a little bit longer than we want to. I don't want to mess with your time. Any last things you want to say? And then I want to know, are you going to run again for mayor of New York?
Well, no, I'm not going to run for mayor. You know, I'm running for re-election right now for the city council. You know, how people say, run for mayor. If I'd announce tomorrow and then ask you all to come to 5 meetings a week and give me $1,000 a piece, you know, Charles. Run, Charles, run, Charles. You can do it, man. Oh, is the meetings next week? Oh man, I gotta go to my thing, and but I catch the next one. Put me down for the next one.
Thoughts and prayers. We send thoughts and prayers.
Look, I'll be there in spirit. That's okay. You gonna send your money in spirit too? I can give you 100. I don't know about 1,000, but I'll give you 100.
Yeah.
I don't have the money, the infrastructure, or the interest.
Gotcha.
And I'm running for mayor, and I couldn't win it. You know, I could run. If I ran, I would hurt Eric, because then it would split the Black vote, and Latino, white could get in, and I wouldn't mind hurting him at all. But I have no interest in that. The city council is a solid piece to have where you can have some power. Just imagine, we have more power than the mayor. The mayor can't even pass his own budget without us. And if we had the right people on, we could set him straight. So last thoughts is that after saying all that, we're going to win, because capitalism is fatally flawed all over the world. The central to our liberation is the liberation of Africa. People are rising up in Africa and getting out the Uncle Toms and Ancient Mamas and Some real folk are coming in. Capitalism is losing. Look at Trump. January 6th, it was Trump and them fighting each other, and trying to put each other in jail now. If we just would solidify ourselves in a powerful Black united front or Black political party, and I no longer have this great, we all unite, all of us. No, just enough of us who think alike. If we come together,
Right.
Let's take over East New York. Let's get Brownsville. Let's get it. Revolution starts from the bottom up. And if we can do some of this, I want to leave you with this Sister Adeline Bunch. I met Miss Bunch when she was 72 years old. And she was in a Catholic church, and she had this white Catholic priest, still does, and she was with the machine a little bit. Miss Bunch is 92, 93 now. Been with us for 20 years, and she's talking radical. Didn't have a radical bone in her body. Karan Allen, he was just wanting to do some good stuff, but now it starts. We just say life is hard if you take it by the yard, but it's a cinch if you take it inch by inch. And the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Can you eat a big elephant? Sure you can, one bite at a time. It may take you 1,000 years, but I believe we're going to win because no form of our oppression is permanent. And any leader that subscribes a permanency to our oppression is not fit to lead us. And I'll end it with that and to say, buy my book. It's on Barnes and Nobles. Speaking Truth to Power. I'll have this. This is about 70 articles and essays on reparations. The history of reparations is in here. The power of the city council, leadership principles in here, revolution, and all of that. All of my experiences in both city council and some of that is in here. It's on Barnes and Nobles online. So, speaking truth to power.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get 5 of them. I'm gonna get 5. I just want to know, and I'll get 5 of them this week, if I can at some point have them signed for my nieces and nephews.
I would be so honored. And just to let you know, all of the proceeds is going to Operation Power. I'm not taking a penny for myself, but I would appreciate that very much.
We appreciate you, my dear brother. I'm glad to see you, man.
Thank you for the conversation.
And yes. Kiss and hug and show Inez our love from us, brother. We appreciate you.
Will do.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Barron.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. Keep up the good work.
Yes, sir. We will.
Good night. God bless.
This was amazing. That is amazing, brother. Amazing, brother.
We got 10 minutes to spare, Jamie. Do you want to run a quick commercial and we come back to a break right after that?
Hi, I'm Dawn Kelly, and I'm the founder and CEO of The Nourish Spot, a healthy food and beverage haven in Southeast Jamaica, Queens. Chosen in 2019 as Micro Business of the Year by the U.S. Small Business Administration. My adult children, Jade and Owen Duncan, and I established The Nourish Spot to provide affordable access to healthy produce, to help our neighbors combat chronic diseases, to provide jobs for a diverse community youth. And it's no secret that small businesses play a critical role in the local economy. It's also proven that community is vital to the growth of small businesses. So come, let us nourish you at The Nourish Spot. We're open Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 6, and Saturdays, 10 to 6 p.m.
Yo, what's up? If you like what you're seeing from the Four Brothers here, give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay notified when we go live and post new content. Thank you for the support. Amy's in the middle. Where he's at?
Congrats to the Knicks. They just made it to the second round since I was a kid. First time since I was a kid, I believe. No. Melo did it with his team. I caught myself. Wait, don't come at me.
Play the Spurs. the Spur, or you were a kid? I forgot. I was grown.
Yeah, he's a lot younger. He was just made on him.
I was like, hold on, Jay, what you talking about, man? 94. Then I was gonna say 99, but I forgot. You was probably a kid then. Yeah, man. I was working at Good Shepherd. No, I was at Good Shepherd. No, I was just about to start. I was in the correction in 99, and then I went to Good Shepherd. Anyhow, real quick. When a man loves deeply, Jimmy, can you please the clip for us, please?
Why do you love me? That's a simple question.
It is a simple question, but it ain't a simple answer. Because of how you love me. It's a very...
God.
It's a very spiritual love. I've been through a lot, and you never see me for what I've been through. You see me for the best that I give to the world and I give to my family. And when everything starts to weigh on me, you kind of, you breathe life back into me. I love you because you're you to me, because you're a gift. That's why I love you. This thing was, it's God engineered. It's perfect.
Oh, very sweet. Any comments, gentlemen?
Shout out to Big Ron.
You know what? I think it really is nice to see men that can just open up, because some people are just guarded against that, and you could just see it was just moving to them. God bless anybody that actually finds that, and anybody else who can actually define that. And so I thought it was really, really nice. And like he said, which was well said, he said it's a simple question, but it's not a simple answer. So I'm sure there's a lot of different complexities when it comes to love. But if you find that person for you, and it just unlocks that, it's really a blessing. So I thought it was well said.
Sometimes the answer is just because, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't, it's no one thing, I think we all have, I know years ago they had this whole thing about the love language and all this other stuff. Like I never really could get with it. I didn't, I got the concept, but it was a nice way to put it. But no, I mean, it's just all communication, I mean, yeah, she's like, if you love, she says, I wonder if he'd say that if he was rolling in the dough. Yeah, he would. That brother, he would. I could tell, but I was gonna say something about his teeth, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
We just can't get nowhere.
As a people,
that's a good question. Ortiz said though. I like what she thinks, because if he had no money, he'd probably be like, "I'm out. I ain't messing with this teeth."
So yeah,
that's foul.
Y'all know that Tony song.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's rare. Wow.
Look, man, we went the whole show, man. Come on, man. Take one for the team.
I know. Let's run these pros up real quick.
D. Nah. You gotta hurry up, D. You're not gonna make it. Shot clock is on, D.
No, I'm happy. I'm very happy. The next one, so I'm good. Nothing crazy gonna come out of me today. But I think what Ortiz kind of said was kind of deep, because this brother had money, he'd probably be out here in these streets.
Really? But where does that distrust come from? Just automatically he'd be in the streets. Why? Because why would y'all say that?
A lot of cats. Money changes a lot of cats.
Can I just say, I think it stems from the teachings. She's only after your money. Watch out for these gold diggers. Like that is a common
But how do y'all know how much
people
money
are
he
saying.
has? How do y'all know what he has? He said he's been through a lot.
Derek
said it's deep. Y'all wrong. It's usually y'all say.
Derek said it first.
Wait, didn't Cardi B say something about a guy to bag and fix the teeth? Yeah, it might be a thing.
Yeah, Nas fixes his tooth.
Look, I gotta be honest with you. If you remember Reggie Miller back in the day, Reggie Miller teeth looked like they had an argument. Like they didn't get along at all. Like I can't.
Everybody. First thing you do when you get some real money, you fix some grills, man.
Man, they coming at you.
I'm in a basement in Manhattan.
Corey Fiends.
I'm in a basement in Manhattan. On most of these nights, I can't get home. I'm in Manhattan right now in a basement.
Yeah, but it's okay to be in a trap. It's okay. Let them
Yeah,
know you
Charles
out
Barron
here.
on, y'all gonna mess up the whole shine right now, man. Damn, man. Feeling all smart tonight.
I'm not home, everybody. I'm not home. I'm in the bunker.
But this was a good show tonight, man. I want to thank Charles Barron for coming on. We saw a lot of the comments. Oh, Corey Holcomb. Yeah, Corey Holcomb was very funny.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of the comments for people to know. Oh, got some more comments? Sorry, go ahead.
Kelvin was recording this sermon before and chop it up. Let's pray Kelvin gets a
Oh, you want to just bring up the comments, Jamie? You want to bring up the funny comments right now? What you want to do? I mean, mixed messages here, man. Get my producer tell me to wrap it up, and then at the same time, you bring up comments. Tell me, so you mess me up. Anyhow, no, great to have Charles Barron on tonight. It was very
excellent,
insightful thoughts and what's going on behind the scenes and how people get more involved. And great having our guest Monique I almost said her last name. Monique on tonight, my sister from another mister, love her to death. For the brothers, let's chop it up. We want to say peace, peace, and peace.